Hello, everybody, and welcome to our brand new show. Yes, it is Sunday. You know what that means. It's episode one, Matinee with the homies. Normally, I go to this gentleman that's over here next to me on Thursday nights. Screw that. Campia, welcome to the team. How you doing, my brother?
I appreciate y'all involving me in it. I'm here for Matinee with the Homies. I am M. Campia U fan. Most of y'all know me as Phantom's second crap meme king because I don't want to get us demonetized yet. And I consider myself a huge movie buff. Not complete knowledge, but I got a buttload of knowledge of movies. So that's why I was wanting to join this show.
Jake, how's it going, my friend?
It's going all right, thank you. It's as you can see, it's a lot earlier than usual. That's why it's matinee. 1 in the afternoon. I'm doing pretty okay. I'm doing well. I have coffee, which normally you don't see me drinking coffee at 8, 9 o'clock at night. Don't make fun of my pink cup. That's just so I can recognize it. But I'm happy to be here. I think for our first show, I think we picked a solid topic that there's a lot of meat on the bone, and we're going to have a lot to discuss. Unlike MCampu, I do not have vast movie knowledge. I have some movie knowledge, and I can pretty much look anything up if I need to, which I probably will end up doing, depending on how much producing needs to be done. So, Phantom, let's do this.
All right. So I want to get into how this show come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So I give a big shout out to M Campu and Ronan as soon as he shows up. One night we were in the GCA Discord and we were just talking about like obscure random movies, and we had like a phenomenal nearly 3 hour conversation on it. And the next day, I'm like, you know what? I love Jay's the Monday Hangover,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, you know what? I think I can get Jake and Campion and Ronan and maybe later on a few people come in. We just talk about like obscure movies, soundtracks. Good. Try to come up with some good, decent topics, and I think we're gonna have fun with this. So yeah. So today's for episode one, it is the Optimus Prime effect on how the death of Optimus Prime from the '86 Transformers movie changed pop culture and literally changed how they handle legacy characters, not only in live action, but also in cartoon form. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
Get it. So Campia, since you're the newbie here, well, I want to hear your take on it.
Well, when I first saw the movie, was also in theater. I was probably 5 years old, so I don't have a good memory of it. But the thing about it was when that movie came out, you didn't have internet, you didn't have anything going on where you could look up stuff like we do nowadays. So the death of Optimus Prime was like caught everyone off guard. You didn't hear unless you heard word of mouth, you did not hear about it. And
Mhm.
I remember watching. I remember watching all the Transformers when I was younger, but I don't remember watching after the movie came out. I feel like might have been one of those kids that was like, "This is bull crap. I'm not going to watch if they're going to get rid of one of my favorite characters."
Sure.
However, my favorite character was not Optimus Prime. My favorite character was Starscream, who they also got rid of at that point.
Yeah.
So Starscream affected me more than Optimus Prime, but Optimus Prime was the majority. And honestly, with you, until like you said, until Beast Wars years later, I don't remember even watching season 3 until going back as an adult.
Mhm.
Now you said something there that I find interesting because it's something that you see much more nowadays, and by nowadays I mean like in current era, and that is Starscream being one of like the de facto favorite characters for a lot of Transformers fans.
Oh yeah,
Like
because he was the
there's
tweener.
yeah, and
Mhm.
there's tons of video essays on YouTube and various breakdowns of whatnot talking about why Starscream is the best character, why he had the best arc, and etc. And then he finally, after X amount of episodes of trying to take down Megatron to try to be number one, he finally gets the crown and he gets turned to ash like 5 seconds later.
5 seconds later.
So,
Well, later on in the series, like prime example, Transformers Armada. This is after Beast Wars. This is like in the early 2000s. They literally took Starscream and actually made him into an Autobot for a good duration of that series. And the thing with me was, so I was 10 years old, went to the theaters, loved Transformers, loved Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime was my childhood hero because he was like probably the coolest of the characters. Father figure, he had wisdom and he had knowledge, and I mean, hands down, he was the defecto. He was the leader of the Autobots. And watching his death in that scene where he's laying on the operating table, and the song is playing is the death of Optimus Prime. That hits you every time when you start hearing that the sounds of the EKG meter, beeping.
Yeah, it's not the death of a robot; it's the death of a human.
Yeah, and what hits me every time, and it's coming, is right when Optimus Prime he gets off the ship. Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. And he transforms. You hear the touch starts playing. He drives around that corner, and he takes out like 5 or 6 Decepticons before he even transforms into robot mode. Flies through the air, kills about 4 or 5 more. He walks in there and he says pretty much the most famous line in that whole movie. Megatron, one shall stand, one shall fall. Why do you throw away your life so recklessly? That's the question you need to ask yourself, Megatron. And that's where it starts. That's where it starts. That line hits me every single time because I know what's coming. And that his death, because in the beginning of it, the Decepticons they crashed the shuttle from Moonbase 2 to Earth, and you see Hound, you see Ironhide, you see Ratchet. They're killed, straight up killed.
Sure. It's in like 45 seconds of the movie starting.
Yeah.
Which was the plan to end the G1 series and start a G2 series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like Prime dies, and you're like, what did I just watch?
In one of the worst ways too, because like obviously, Optimus has Megatron effectively on his knees. Well, I mean, he is on his knees begging for life. He has him dead to rights. And Optimus is trained on Megatron. Like if Megatron
he is a headshot, it's a kill shot.
Oh yeah,
it's a kill shot.
If Megatron does something stupid, like Optimus has this, and who the fuck comes running in but Hot Rod saying, "No,
the chosen one,
no,
not today, Megatron."
He sprints in to grab Megatron to prevent him from grabbing this gun in front of him, and then of course now Optimus can't get a shot on him because all this shit is happening. He doesn't want to kill his friend. And then what happens? Because Hot Rod does that, Optimus just gets
Takes
shot.
the shot. Yep.
Just
right there in that.
Bam.
You gotta remember. You gotta remember. Megatron literally uses a lightsaber, opens up Optimus. He throws a shard of fucking debris from Fortress Maximus, and then is like. Prime is literally trolling Megatron, thinking he's hurt, and Megatron's optics are like one of his optics is blowed out, and he barely can stand. Prime is like he's got the fucking kill shot, and he's less than 2 feet away. Yeah. Megatron could still miss with that. He could still hit Optimus, but you honestly think that Optimus didn't have this? And they make the guy that helped kill Optimus Prime the fucking hero of the goddamn movie.
Rodimus Prime,
which is another thing I can't stand, turning Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime, because it obviously wasn't. Look, when they were thinking of the characters, like early stages, when they were thinking about who the next Prime was going to be, it wasn't going to be Rodimus or Hot Rod.
Ultra
Who was it supposed
Magnus.
to be? It was supposed to be Ultra Magnus. Why? Because he's red, white, and blue. He's really big. He's got the look. He's got it. Whatever it is. It was obviously supposed to be him, but because he has no effing hands and he decides to drop the matrix of leadership, Hot Rod dives in and grabs it and suddenly has a hold of it. Like, just.
Do you know what I always thought? When I went back and rewatched it, because I rewatched it again this morning, I wonder if the Matrix had literally landed in Ultra Magnus' hands, would he be the chosen one, or did it pick the first person? Maybe it picked Rodimus because he felt that Rodimus blames himself for Optimus' death, which he should be blaming himself. And
I mean, he had the better arc, so I do agree that Rodimus, with the way they built it and the way the storyline they wrote for it, he did have the better arc to become the character, but the way they played him was just like, no, we don't want this guy. And that's why
it's like the reluctant hero's journey in that movie for me.
Yeah. But you usually like or identify at least, or maybe just enjoy the character that they're building up. I don't really remember caring about Hot Rod that much in this movie.
I think for me, Hot Rod's biggest moments, trying to save Optimus on Megatron, which he should never have done, and I would think him on Quintessa, the planet Quintessa, like before they meet up with the boss on Junkion, where he showed that his compassion on helping Cup, rebuilding him, and literally helping start a revolution. I think that's probably what built his character even more and showed that the Matrix saw in him that he could become the new Prime, the new leader. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you want to look at the movie the way I do, Cup should have been the leader.
Really?
I feel like Cup had more of the
experience,
more the drive, more the wanting to help more people. Whereas Hot Rod felt more like he was just not a kid, but like a guy who didn't know who he was, which, like I said, was what they were building for the thing, but it just didn't work for me.
Oh, can I just say one thing? Bana weep nitty bomb. Pa weep grana weep nitty bomb. I don't know. It's like so let's talk about a little bit on how his death changed pulp culture a little bit.
Yes.
So at the time, the literally the face of the franchise was Optimus Prime. Hands down. It was Optimus Prime. And with his death, I mean, they literally had to change aspects of the movie that came out a year later, G.I. Joe the movie. Yes. They were going to kill Dukov. They filmed it. They literally filmed it.
Because although they came out a year apart, there were pre-production and some production stages that were overlapping with each other, and there was some communication between the team that was writing the Transformers movie and the team that was writing the G.I. Joe movie. And
not even that. This was the first time you've seen a kid's show kill off a main character. Like there was no cartoons that were like every other show was they die at the end of the episode, they're back. There was never this is done, one and done, and that freaked a lot of people out too, or freaked a lot of children out.
Oh yeah. You're 5 years old in the theater, and you see your hero basically that you've been watching for a year or two up to this point, who if you're 5, that is what you look up to, and to just see him just absolutely eat it, and that's it. Like it's done. Like that had to have really messed with some young boys' minds and girls. I'm sure there's some
it
girls
definitely did. Hey, I can testify to it. I'm 50 years old and I still cry. I cried when we watched it Friday night, watching Optimus die. And it still affects you.
And it obviously had and this is one of the things we're going to continue to get into, is it obviously had such an effect not only on people who were watching the movie, but on that portion of the entertainment industry at large that the people that were writing the G.I. Joe movie literally scrambled to change the ending effectively so that they didn't kill off their main character. And look who we have here. If it isn't Ronan the Crusader.
Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
Yeah, I came in a little late doing some womanly things, some of you would say.
That's
But
what
I'm
Ronan
here
the
now.
Conqueror does.
All right. All right. So what I miss on this absolutely wonderful conversation regarding one of the greatest animated films of the 80s ever.
So we were talking about our how our feelings were about the death of Optimus Prime. So since you're here now, I'd like to hear how you felt re-seeing that again.
So, okay, so I'll have to be honest and admit this.
Please.
It was the first time that I've ever actually watched the Transformers movie. It's something I've always been wanting to watch, though, because I hear nothing but high praises about it. I hear nothing but high praises about G1 Transformers and everything. People absolutely love it. They look back on it with the fondest of memories. Me, when I was growing up, I was watching the early 2000s Transformers shows like Armada, some of the newer ones that were coming out, I think, in the 2010s. And obviously, I grew up watching the Michael Bay movies. I know people got their opinions on those. That was one of my first big exposures on them, aside from Armada. I kind of like the first one a lot. The second one, it's something.
That's for a future episode. That's gonna be a future episode.
Good,
the second Michael Bay
because
movie.
we really got to talk about that one. That one's just I don't know. But the third one honestly kind of brought it back for me. I actually did quite enjoy the third one, especially that third act when they were attacking Chicago. But that's besides the point. First time watching the G1 movie. Yeah, I'm actually really amazed at how good the animation was and just how good the overall performance from a lot of the actors was too. Like Frank Welker being Megatron is always absolutely wonderful to hear. Just a man of 100 voices.
100%.
Right.
And then he becomes, Megatron becomes Galvatron, and we get good old Spock, Leonard Nimoy doing the voice. I'm like, oh, I see where he got his Sentinel Prime voice from, because this is good shit. And of course, Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. Oh my god.
My name is Optimus Prime. Oh,
and they killed two of the main characters he voiced in the first part of the fucking movie.
I know, that's the shocking stuff that comes with this, man. Now, like, what is it? Marketing wise, yes, they're trying to do it because they wanted to introduce a new gen of Transformers to sell.
Right.
Yep.
But this is how you're gonna do it, by killing everybody off so early?
Exactly.
Damn, bro.
Agreed. How do you not like realize you're about to piss off the whole entire fan base?
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever happened to like having a crossover episode or what have you, where you have the old generation meeting the new generation at the end of the episode? They all shake hands. They did that in Japan. To the new guys.
They did that in Japan.
Yeah, because they knew what the fuck they were doing, obviously.
Yeah, so like I was looking up something not too long ago, and the people in Japan were so mad about this. They literally made a clause that from any future endeavors with the Transformers, if you kill Optimus Prime out, you have to bring him right back. We're not going to, because they lost billions in sales after the 86 movie. Billions with a B, because my generation that watched that movie, we just did not fucking care about Transformers after that. We just did. We went to G.I. Joe, and that's the reason why they literally had to film extra footage and add extra dialogue, because they fucking killed Duke off in the movie, but he's in a coma.
Yeah,
because of
and
this.
Then they did a test watch of the movie, and a bunch of the kids
People
were like,
walked out.
Duke is dead, and people were walking out, and they're like, oh shit, we need to fix this right now.
Yeah, we're not going through this again.
We're not going through this again.
Like the other thing I heard too was that what was it, post movie Transformers, like the animated series they're doing with Rodimus Prime being the main character, like they didn't retain viewer audiences. They didn't retain viewer numbers. Like the numbers were just dwindling ever since, because they didn't care as much about Rodimus Prime. Like, sure, he had the whole He had the whole storyline similar to like Luke Skywalker, where he's an up and comer in the movie, but even so, like people just weren't as attached to him as they were with Optimus or as they were with Megatron. Hell, when we were watching the movie, Phantom was talking about how they would have preferred Ultra Magnus kind of pick up the reins instead. Yeah.
That's what I think, because he has the look, and I'll repeat
he had and he felt like a father figure.
Yes,
he
no,
felt like a leader.
Yes.
Yeah, and what did they do? No, it probably wasn't even 4 or 5 episodes into the new season. They had an episode where the Autobots get a weird signal from the floating mausoleum where all the Transformers were buried in space. And what do they find? Optimus Prime alive. I'm doing air quotes because technically he is not alive. The Quintessons set a trap to bring Optimus Prime back to take over, and literally so they can like reinvade and take over Cybertron, because the Quintessons in that timeline were the builders of the Transformers that got kicked out because of revolt by Megatron, by the way. Megatron is one of the bots that kicked the Quintessons off of Cybertron so he could be the de facto leader. And they traumatized us again. Because why? When Optimus Prime gets his memories back, he's literally Prime again. He re-sacrifices himself to save the fucking Transformers by blocking out a exploding sun.
Bring it back and kill him again.
End of season 3.
And what did it do at the beginning of season 4? Oh, Optimus Prime is not dead. These astronauts find him, his body's, they bring him back, rebuild him, and they literally infect him with a cosmic spore that literally turns everybody to kill each other.
Great idea. Great idea.
And what was season 4? The last season.
Oh my god! Don't get me started with season 4, because fucking Primus literally gives Optimus Prime the vision of a new golden age for Cybertron that never happened.
Nope.
That never fucking happened.
Now, and I think this could be a good segue, is the season 4, which is the end of Gen 1 and Gen 2. How long was it before there was a new Transformers show?
A decade.
Because I know it was a decade, 10 years. And I know I think you said this, Phantom, MCamp, I think you might have said this also, that it wasn't until Beast Wars that you started watching again, because
87 to 96.
Interesting. Yeah. Like, just.
And technically, it wasn't even the classic Transformers. It was a new team. It was the Manimals versus the Predacons.
Yep.
Which
Primal.
Yeah.
Optimus
Which
Primal, yeah.
Which, don't take me wrong, I enjoyed it. I didn't like season 1 of Beast Wars until they went back to Cybertron in season 2. I can't remember who does the voice of Optimus Prime in that series, but they used him until Peter Cullen came back like decades later. But he was pretty good. I mean, I like the
Gary Chalk.
Yeah, because he did the voice of the He-Man, Prince Adam and He-Man in New Adventures of He-Man, which that's probably going to be something we'll talk about later on, how they fucked up He-Man back in the day. But
he also did Reboot and Sonic 2.
Yeah, and he was in the live action was it the guy that played on Knight Rider,
David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, he was David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury's right-hand man in that movie.
When the Nick Fury movie from like 88, 87, something like that.
I got what you'll know his face. So you guys remember? I know a bunch of us have watched Stargate. The episode where they're in command and they're talking about the Stargate. The guy that was the Russian ambassador is the guy that became the voice of Optimus Prime for a generation. That's him.
Really?
That's him.
Okay.
That's him.
Okay. Was he mainly known for doing voice stuff? Because that
mostly,
role in
yeah.
Stargate
Mostly, yeah.
massive.
He was a 90s voice actor.
Okay.
Yeah. So getting back to this with the interaction between that and Beast Wars. In Japan, the series kept on because in Japan it was the headmasters. Because at the end of season 4, they introduced the headmasters and the trigger masters, which was alien race. So the last was like a maybe 2 or 3 parter where there's an accident. They're trying to insert the key into Alpha Trion, and most of the Transformers get blown halfway across the galaxy, and they end up on this planet. They hook up with this race of people. They're fighting, virtually the human form of the Decepticons and Autobots, but in human form. And they have technology. Daniel, which is Spike's son, his exosuit, he's badly hurt. He's dying. And RC decides that she wants Daniel to become her partner, becomes her headmaster, so his suit will transform into her head. And they have guns and stuff, which was pretty phenomenal because we got the first iteration of Scorponaut, he was a giant mechanical base until like later on the Michael Bay's, and he's more small Transformer. And that show ended. In Japan, they kept the show going. And they killed Optimus Prime off multiple times in the Japanese version. However, what hurt them the most is like when it comes to, we talked about this the other night. The reason why it hit us harder here is because Optimus Prime was more than just nuts and bolts. Right. He was literally a living, breathing entity.
He was more than meets the eye.
Yeah,
he was more than meets the eye.
And
it was not in disguise.
And people, children in my generation loved Optimus Prime, like I said earlier. And his death hit us harder because in Japan, if you sacrifice yourself for anybody, that's an honorable death. Here in America, it was a totally
you make millions of boys cry. And also at that time, obviously I wasn't around at that time. Ronan and I are closer in age than Camp You and Phantom are in age.
Don't put me at that old.
Certainly here in the U.S. when it came to the '86 movie and then the cartoon before, that's you could argue there was more, but that's basically as far as most young boys to young teenagers, that's the Transformers content that we had. Yes, there were some Gen 1 toys, but it wasn't like in Japan where you could go down to any toy store effectively or whatever you want to call it, and there's just shit everywhere. There's Transformers models everywhere. You could be completely immersed in it. So in killing Optimus Prime in the movie in 1986, in the US specifically, it was basically like killing Transformers for the Western market.
It's like losing a parent. It's like losing your parent or grandparent at the time,
Well, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, Jake. Like, it literally was like in '86 before the movie, you could walk down any toy aisle and there would be a full aisle of Transformers, and they would be half gone because people would buy them. And then after that, all the ones from it's still Gen 1, but like the generation after the movie, nobody cared. It was like, why? The only thing that sold that I think was sold was when they brought Optimus back, and then they brought that figure. That was the only figure that sold after that.
Anything Optimus Prime was the #1 seller. Optimus and Megatron at the time. And also a little fun fact about the movie. The movie was the last time that Megatron was a gun. Was a gun you could hold in your hand. That's where it changed.
Like a P-38 with a scope. And then he didn't get turned into a gun. He got turned into a fucking cannon when he came back.
See, the closest comparison I'm seeing here, and again, like just to sort of remind everyone that again, I didn't grow up in the 80s, was born in 96, so I wouldn't be able to have this full-on experience. But the closest kind of comparison when it comes to like this decision that almost nearly destroys a franchise would be what happened with Disney and Star Wars in the 2010s. The decisions that they made with the sequel trilogy and everything, essentially killing off the original cast, trying to bring the new cast, and the god awful writing that essentially occurred from all of that.
Mhm.
Again, the only difference obviously is the fact that one was absolutely politics driven, the other one was more or less driven through a sort of flawed understanding of marketing. I mean,
Right.
both have their perspectives of marketing, but one definitely felt a lot more politically driven. We all know which one that one was, but
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these like directors and shareholders, whoever's making the decisions when it comes to developing these
Mhm.
these toys, really do not understand the audience that they're trying to cater to.
Mm.
Right.
Well, in '86, I
I
will
would
say that
agree.
was more of a new thing back then, though, compared to now.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
with Star Wars, they had proven data to show
Mhm.
don't do this. That's stupid.
Right,
Well,
right.
and that's exactly the point I was going to bring up, Campu, is that, if a mistake is made 30 years hence, and you have 30 years of data showing like this is what you absolutely shouldn't do, this is what will happen if you do it, and here are some
He said
potential
doo-doo.
issues that here's some potential fallout from doing such things. When you have the knowledge of previous generations of their fuck ups and how you do not have to do them, you can take this big stack of info, say everything in here, don't do this, and what happens? Like Ronan brought up with the Disney sequel trilogy for Star Wars, they basically flip through it and use it as a guidebook and say, okay, we are going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I mean, we can
Yep.
all, a recent example of toys not being, or staying on the shelves, not being sold, is a bunch of Rey figurines. That,
Mhm.
who knows how many hundreds were on various toy shelves that were just sitting there pristine in the front, and
mean,
just
people have made
nobody
YouTube.
cared. Nobody.
Ray figures, Rose Tico figures, a lot of these just kind
Oh
of
my
collect
gosh.
dust either in Goodwill or in
Mhm.
Ollie's if you live in like Pennsylvania or close to that area.
Mhm.
We have all these down here.
Shout out
Okay, I
Ollie's.
didn't know that as well, but yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, those things just collect dust because people don't want to buy them. They don't relate to those characters. I think the only figure from the sequel trilogy that probably does see more sales would be Kylo Ren, if anything, because love him or
Kylo,
hate him,
Poe, and
Kylo,
Finn.
yes,
Kylo, Poe, and Finn were the
those
most
three
sellers.
seemed like
Mhm.
more relatable characters, which is ironic considering how they handle them in the damn sequel trilogy too.
Mhm.
Well, it's the old adage, if you don't heed the past, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yep.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Indeed.
And
That's
plus,
the
we've
reason-
seen
certainly-
we've seen like 100. You see YouTube toy YouTubers
Mhm.
constantly doing videos about look at all these Star Wars figures sitting on the shelf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just full. It sometimes when they'll film in those stores, it looks like it's about to be the grand opening.
Yeah.
Because they'll go
Mhm.
down an aisle and all the shelves are full and all the toys are pristine and they're all in the front, they're all lined up because nobody's touching them. Nobody wants them.
Well, so-
there's no desire for it.
Like with the Transformers toys, when you started seeing them bringing back classic Optimus Prime, or like in Armada. Armada was the second the third Transformers series that came out in America, and this is when you first see Optimus Prime Super Mode in Armada, and those you couldn't keep them. They couldn't keep them on the shelves. People wanted Optimus Prime.
Mhm.
People wanted Megatron. And I mean, we were talking about this the other night. The new figures that they've come out with their voice commanded Optimus Prime and Megatron,
Mhm.
and people are buying them like gangbusters. People want when Mattel or Hasbro, it's Hasbro who owns the rights to Transformers. When they start bringing out their classic lines, the first one they brought out was Optimus Prime, and they couldn't keep it on the shelf
Yep.
because everybody wanted it. This is when you hear people talk about legacy characters. Optimus Prime is a legacy character, hands down.
Yep. Hell,
And-
even I'll admit, like I would probably pick up the Grimlock one as well too. That
Mhm.
thing looks absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
they have.
I do.
But
I
the
don't
three
mind
they have
selling
is Optimus Prime,
Megatron,
and Grimlock.
Like I'm
And-
willing to
and
actually shell
Bumblebee.
1,500 for
They
that.
got-
Oh,
Oh,
all
they got
right.
do
classic,
Bumblebee?
classic.
Okay.
They classic Bumblebee. The
All right,
the Beetle.
nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like you could go back to the 50s and 60s or something. It'd be like killing off Bugs Bunny from the
Mhm.
Merry Melodies. Who
Mhm.
would have
What-
cared if he was gone?
Everybody would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be like,
Yeah, I
why
was
am I
gonna say,
watching
I
this?
think
Bugs
black
Bunny
people
was the
would care.
best thing about it.
Mhm.
Dude, this is like them, like if Walt Disney decided to draw a giant mousetrap and have Mickey go up to it and try to snap. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and also when you look at like later productions of Transformers, who is the leader? It's always Optimus Prime. They have not changed it since Beast Wars.
Nope.
They've introduced Hot Rod. They never gave him the leadership role. He's always been a secondary character. Like Megatron, you know Megatron will switch back and forth between Megatron and Galvatron, which they really don't change much of the design of it. Just basically it's the color scheme, and that's how they've been doing it ever since. And what's happened? People love Transformers again. People watch Transformers again. People buy Transformers again. The hairbrain, the hair that got that dude's ass, literally to kill these main characters off. This dude was ridiculed. I remember he did a thing where he got death threats from it.
Oh yeah.
And this is from kids. This is not adults. This are kids. They're like, why did you kill Optimus Prime off?
And tying that into a point being made by Nan Campu, this is back at a time before the internet. So that means somebody had to take a physical piece of paper and a physical pen or pencil and put pen to paper and write out the death threat, put it in an envelope,
And
find
mail
the
it.
address. Maybe you put your address in the top left-hand corner and then mail that shit out. There's way more effort in that than just sending out a tweet on X.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those people must have really cared. They were
And-
really going to do it.
And you also got to think next year is the next year will be the 40th anniversary, and Optimus Prime's death still affects people to this day of my generation.
People are still talking about it.
Dude, we've heard
know?
Jay. We've heard Jay on his streams when he was since Jay's been doing this Transformer thing. Talk about his PTSD from seeing Optimus Prime die in the movie. And like myself, I talk about it all the time. It's like, yeah, this still affects you. I mean, I'm 50 years old, just turned 50 years old. And what did I do that night when we were watching it Friday night? I fucking bawled my eyes out while we were watching it.
I did the same, but for Starscream.
Yeah, it's like now. Let's go further into it. Let's see the repercussions of Optimus Prime's death on
perfect example. The new live action movies, right? Who is the star of those live action movies?
Optimus Prime.
And who does not make an appearance till the third movie? Hot Rod.
Yep.
That's actually no, not even the third movie. He only appears.
It was the last night.
Movie.
Which one was the last night?
The last night, which is
fifth. Okay.
Which is actually something I kind of did want to comment as soon as I saw Hot Rod show up in the animated films. Like, we got this young up and coming buck who's almost like Luke Skywalker in this film, which is obviously what they were going for. But I guess the backlash towards Hot Rod must have been so much that in the last night they basically turn him into this weird Frenchy
butler
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect the
Bumblebee's brother in
much.
arms or something. Yeah.
Well, Ronan, my generation blame Hot Rod for getting Optimus killed.
Right. No. I mean, we saw the movie. Yeah. Clearly we know why it happened.
Yeah. Now imagine that for 30 years till that first night came out.
Damn.
I mean, the only time that anybody actually fucking gave a damn about Hot Rod has to be Armada and Cybertron. That was the only two that they actually gave people cared about Hot Rod because one, it wasn't the same character. Totally different character, same name, but he had a different arc where he did not want the power. He didn't want the responsibility. He just wanted to fight Decepticons, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
He didn't want the touch.
No.
or the power.
Or the power. He didn't want to be caught in the eye of the storm when all hell was breaking.
Now this is the end of the road for you, Galvatron.
Now, so going, as you were saying, Phantom, going back to repercussions, obviously the first, you could argue that the first immediate repercussion, the first major repercussion was the G.I. Joe movie, which came out the year later. Year after. And that was a mad scramble. Rewriting, because it was animated, doing redrawing things, adding in new lines. That was like the first major repercussion, was making sure Duke doesn't die, because they're like, well, if we kill off Duke, then probably the same thing's going to happen. G.I. Joe toys are going to be collecting dust. Nobody's going to buy them, what have you. And then again, Transformers kind of goes away in the U.S. for about a decade, if you will. And then you can think about this in another sense, where from like 86 and the previous like 15-ish years, well, more like 10 years, ever since Reagan kind of deregulated some stuff, most cartoons were to advertise toys to people who were, like us when we were, 5 to 10 years old.
Yeah, they had to set it up to where, it was just a big toy commercial, but they had this group set up to where there would have to be a moral added to the end of every story. They did it with He-Man, they did it with Transformers, they did it with everything during that era.
And so post 86, what happened? There were cartoons that were to, largely to sell toys in some sense, but certainly did not get the monetary backing that they did previously, because they're like, oh, wait a minute, these cartoons can have a genuine, serious impact on the big money maker, which is selling toys. And so again, for like the next decade afterwards, you didn't see anywhere near as many cartoons coming out to sell toys or to represent brands or
the money became the show, not the toy line.
Yes.
And
also
there was
this kind of bifurcation between the two, where they were trying to say, hey, the toys are over here and the cartoon is over here. And yes, they're slightly related to each other, but they're no longer going to be as intertwined, because we cannot have something like what happened in the Transformers movie, where a character is taken out and that affects this other multi-million-dollar industry, this other part of, what Hasbro, for instance, does in the U.S. Have to keep those two separated.
Well, that's also how you see a lot of cartoons and stuff after, say, 1990. A lot of them never had a toy line come out for them.
That's true.
Because of this.
Or if they did, it was literally like one figure or two figures of the main ones that people like.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have like, in the 80s, the biggest toy lines were Transformers, Masters of the Universe, and Thundercats, and G.I. Joe. The top 4 main sellers that young boys bought. Girls had Barbie, but when it comes to like the cartoons, those were the big 4.
Well, the little cars too.
Micro Machines.
Not Micro Machines, but the regular
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
That's the one.
But I'm talking about like cartoon wise.
Oh, okay.
And then like, I would say Beast Wars, they had their stuff. The Transformers after that had their stuff. G.I. Joe started having a decline probably after, I'd say, 1990.
Yeah, that was certainly once the G.I. Joe toys, because G.I. Joes were, when they initially came out, they were like, this is, a 1/12 scale doll that has like a realistic uniform, a realistic firearm. They're
Kung
supposed
Fu
to
grip,
look like soldiers. And then once it got to the point where they were getting a little bit fantastical, that's when it really started to tip over. And then once it got crazy is when it fell off. So yes, very similar to that.
Yeah, and it's like toys. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, like Japan was like, You dumb twats. You literally killed our business with our toys there. Billions in revenue lost. Dude, there are kids that literally like took their Optimus Prime and buried Optimus Prime because they thought he was dead and gone. Literally.
I mean, and again, if you're 5 or 6 years old, you've only ever seen him or heard him speak, let's say, on screen, and then you see him just absolutely eat it. What are you going to do if you're 5 years old? Well, you might go home and like, well, I've seen other adults.
You mourn him.
Take your toy. You mourn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You go back and you take a spade and you dig a hole and you bury your toy and you say a little prayer and you do your best to be a man, even though you're 5. You shouldn't have to be a man at this point because you're 5, and you move on. And what happens if you mourn something and then move on? You usually don't go back to it. You move on to something else eventually. So,
yeah, I'm looking here. The 90s toys that were the most popular figure was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which of course they were,
okay,
and wrestling figures. That's the highest ones on here.
Oh man, I'm young enough. So Ronan, you said you're born in '96. I was born in '93. Yeah. Okay. So I was just on the tail end of when wrestling figures were a big deal, because I remember when I was quite young, again like 5, 6, 7 years old. I had friends who had like older brothers who, like, they just had bankers boxes full of wrestling figurines. Like that stuff was mad popular, especially during that Attitude Era of wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling figures were insanely popular.
I was going to say, this was around the Attitude Era of wrestling, wasn't it? So it makes sense that
well, it was
selling.
It was
like
80s too, because you had the Ultimate Warrior, the Hulk Hogan's, the wrestling buddies, stuff
the
like that.
Big plastic figures that didn't move.
Yeah,
had
the big,
around 91, 92.
But
Transformers was still there on this list, but obviously that's a holdover from the 80s, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so, like, getting back to that whole thing with the reason they did the G.I. Joe the movie. So in G.I. Joe the movie, there's a fight between Duke and Serpentor, which Serpentor is the leader of of Cobra. He's the main leader, and he has the ability to pull snakes off of his outfit that are venomous and very deadly.
Very
in the movie, Duke takes 2 hits to the heart, and it goes into his chest. These are death blows. I mean, literally,
yeah,
he should be dead.
For real, no kidding. Like, penetrates the heart.
Yeah,
which
you're not literally goes in. Yeah, and so when they did test screenings up the first time with Duke's death in there, they had a bunch of kids come in there, and what happened? Same thing that happened in Transformers the movie. The kids got to crying. Their parents had to pull them out kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And they're like, we are screwed. And they literally went back, and if I remember right, they spent nearly $1 million in reshoots and voice work.
Which is significant, given that the amount of money that was spent on these movies was between like 10 to 13 million roughly. So to go back and have like a 6-week scramble where you spend another $1 million, that's a lot.
And so they had it. So the scene's still in the movie, because you can see Scarlet. She's holding Duke's hand and she is losing it.
Right.
And Doc is over him, and Doc's holding his hand, and Duke's hand drops. Right. And he's fine. He's just in a coma.
Yeah,
he's fine. He'll be back, kids. He's not dead.
Don't worry.
What we call CYA.
He is not dead.
And you see all the Joes are standing there like their leader is dead.
Yeah, hat in hand, hands crossed in front of them, just
crying. I mean, you see Leatherneck. Leatherneck is the
one of the baddest MFers there is.
Yeah, he's the most macho of the Joes. He's a fucking Marine. And he's got his hat, and he is crying his eyes out. You know Duke is dead. And at the end of the movie, right before credits roll, great news, guys! Duke is out of a coma. He's out of a coma. And everybody's like, yo, Joe. And I'm like, I saw that. I was like, so this is a year. I'm 11 years old. I got to go to theaters to watch it. And I'm like, oh my, I see Duke get hit. Oh, Duke's dead. I knew at 11 years old, Duke is dead.
Mhm.
And they said, oh no,
You
he's in
just
coma.
knew
I'm
from
like,
the previous year they killed Optimus.
That's what I was
They're
gonna say,
gonna
the
do
same thing,
Oh man.
yeah.
Not
But
again.
but the thing is, though, the G.I. Joes were not bringing out new toys because they integrated the old toys with the new ones every time. Like in
Which
this
is what
movie,
they should have done with Transformers.
Yeah.
But G.I. Joe was very specifically just a Western thing.
Yeah.
Whereas
I mean,
Transformers was West and East.
Yeah.
Specifically
So-
Japan.
So they integrated the new teams. They
Mhm.
integrated the new villains. They literally in the spoilers, but this is a 30-year-old movie. The only person that they really do like a significant thing to in that movie is Cobra Commander, because you come to find out Cobra Commander, he's a mutant that got these spores blasted in his face and it mutated his face to where he was transforming into a snake. That's the reason why he wore the faceplate all the time. And literally he becomes a human hybrid Cobra by the end of the movie. But then in the new series, what do? They can't do without Cobra Commander. They literally regenerate his body and make him a new body, which is fine enough. But yeah, Transformers never recovered over Prime's death. They just never did.
Nope.
They just never did.
And basically, I guess this is the case until 2007 when like Michael Bay was like Transformers, but that 20-ish year period, like Transformers wasn't really much of anything. Again, you had Beast Wars and things. Kids were going on glomming onto that. They were buying some toys, but they were nowhere near as big until the Transformers movies comes out, and that movie makes $1 billion or whatever the hell it makes, and they're like, okay, we're gonna make more of these. They kind of die out after the third one was. The second one was good. The third one was the fourth one.
Second one, no. They bastardize. They bastardize Devastator in that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
They're bastardize.
Yeah,
they look. Jake, they literally had. They literally. Hey, cock and balls. A cock and balls.
That's what I was about to say.
I was just
I'm underneath the enemy scrotum. That was what I said.
I mean,
now here we have an Oscar-winning actor on a radio saying how he's beneath the scrotum.
Now, don't take it wrong. There was controversy with the first Michael Bay movie because I mean they had Peter Cohen come back as Optimus Prime. Great, loved it. He said the line in the movie, and I got to crying in the live action because he says, "One shall stand, one shall." Every time I hear that fucking line, I tear up. But
which is why it's still being used today.
Yeah, and the thing is, they literally had the guy that played Red Skull do the voice of Megatron in the first movie.
Yes.
Right.
But then the fans backlash, and what did they do? They brought back the classic Megatron voice, which was great. They brought back some of the living members of that cast to do voices and stuff in their own movies. And then the movie started falling off until we got Transformers Rise of the Beast, which was great. Optimus had his classic look. He was back being the Mack truck version of himself.
Hallelujah.
And I liked it. And now they're starting to share a universe because at the post-credit scene, what did we get? We got the card said G.I. Joe on it. So,
come on, it's gonna be great.
Now, don't take me wrong. I like the second live-action G.I. Joe movie better than the first one because they actually got the characters more right than in the first one.
Okay, fair enough.
Because at least in the second movie, you got Cobra Commander in his classic uniform. You got Firefly shows up, and always Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, probably the best part of the movies. And I have to say, I don't like Dwayne Johnson as an actor, but in the second G.I. Joe movie, I liked him as Roadblock. He was Roadblock in the movie for me.
All you have to do is lay him on his side, and fucking tank isn't getting through that.
Yeah.
He is a roadblock. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Better door than a window, better roadblock than nothing else. Say that.
Well, getting back to Transformers, though, I gotta say,
Please do.
Phantom didn't like Megatron's voice in the movies, but I think Hugo Weaving did a decent job.
It's
I
not that I
him.
didn't
I
like
like
it.
Hugo Weaving.
I didn't. Let's say I didn't like it. I just said that it was controversial to a lot of people that the
Oh, that it
actor
wasn't
played-
Peter. That wasn't
yeah,
Frank
because
Welker.
Frank Welker.
Because
Yeah,
Frank
Will
Welker was
Welker.
still alive,
Yeah.
and they didn't ask Frank Welker back. That was
Well, he was there. He was there for Soundwave, and he did one other character for the
He
movies.
did Soundwave and
They didn't have
Shockwave.
him- but
Yeah,
they
Shockwave.
didn't have
Right.
him do Megatron, and I imagine it was a Michael Bay decision because Hugo Weaving
Is a name.
is a name, like a big
Coming off
name.
Lord of the Rings.
Well,
He's coming off Lord of
coming
the
off Lord
Rings.
of
He
the
just came off
Rings,
of.
yeah.
He's about to be cast as the Red Skull. I can see why they went
Mhm.
with him.
Right.
Vendetta.
Right.
But
V for
then,
coming off V for Vendetta, that too. That came out just 2 years prior, I think, 05.
Something like that, yeah.
now when Transformers the cartoons start turning the tide, has to be Transformers Prime when they actually brought back most of the original voice actors to
Mhm.
play their old characters again in anime form. That series was pretty good. It had its problems. Transformers Prime is where they do more in depth of how Primus is actually Cybertron and Unicron is inside of Earth. Earth is
Right.
literally Unicron.
Right. Yeah. That I
was
kind
retarded.
of felt that was a bit of a jumping the shark moment of like the Earth is the biggest transformer. It's like, why? But why though? Like, why?
Dude, I like it that Primus
Seriously.
was Cybertron because in Transformers Cybertron, literally they're trying so we're gonna do this another thing where I want to talk about the impact of Unicron
We've been coming up with like half a year's
Yeah.
worth of ideas
Yeah.
on this.
but
yeah.
so the thing was in Cybertron, after Armada, Unicron is destroyed at the end of Armada, and because Unicron is literally in every universe at the same time. So every time you see Unicron in comic books, video games, or movies or television shows, it's the same Unicron.
Simultaneously existing, right?
Yes. And when they kill him off, what happens? It offset the balance, and there's a massive black hole literally destroying the universe. And what did they do? They found out they had to find the cyber plant keys, and they have to use this device to offset and stop the wormhole, which creates a new Unicron. However, Primus is literally Cybertron. He transforms, and I like that aspect. But when they said, "Oh, well, the devil of the Transformer universe is Earth," I'm like, "Yo, you got to be kidding me here! That was lazy."
No, I don't understand that decision there that they made with that. Like that was probably the most dumbfounding thing. Like even I know that making Earth Unicron is probably the most ridiculous decision that you could make because now
they can
what
never
you're
use
doing-
him. They can never use him.
exactly because Earth is just the planet as is. Now you're just Unicron's supposed to be, as you say, Phantom, the devil of the Transformers universe. He is a powerful, eldritch, malevolent force that is skulking in the shadows, hiding far away. He lets his little fiends like Megatron and Starscream do his bidding, and then if need be, if he has to be the one to actually come in, he'll come in, and when he comes in, his presence is terrifying and awestruck. That's what it's supposed to be. Making Earth Unicron makes zero sense, and it almost kind of turns. How do I put it? It feels like you're villainizing Earth itself and humanity, and there's no reason for that to happen because humanity's always on the side of the Transformers. They're always trying to help the Autobots, and now you're making their homeworld the absolute monster that needs to be killed.
Well, you did. Well, here's a little fun fact. I found out this recently. So they did an homage to Unicron being inside of Earth in a Marvel movie. Could you tell me what Marvel movie? Nobody watched it. Eternals.
Well, nobody.
Oh,
Eternals.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, because before you
I
said
watched it, I blocked it
Marvel,
out.
I was going to say the very last scene of the last Michael Bay Transformers movie, the fifth one, where they had a massive, they had that like crescent moon shape sticking out of the earth, and it was the implication
The
was that
horns essentially of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and the implication was supposed to be that Earth is Unicron, which again, how the heck were they going to resolve that in the sixth movie? If there were,
That's the reason they retcon. That's the reason why they retconned it. They retconned it and literally made Unicron the planetary form coming to Earth because of Scourge, which was better for me.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
And the thing that was like really bugs me the most about this whole thing with Unicron is like Unicron and Primus are twins. They were created by the source at the beginning of time, good and evil, because you can't have one without the other. Literally in this universe, Primus is the Transformers god,
Right.
and the opposite side of the coin is Unicron. They literally took Unicron and made Unicron this niche character that, basically he's the MacGuffin of the last season of Transformers Prime, where Prime feel there's a disturbance in the force, and they're finding this weird energy. Then all of a sudden, these little clones of Unicron, these Earth style Unicrons start attacking stuff, and then they find Unicron inside, and they do this whole arc where they're trying to prevent fucking him from breaking loose on Earth and killing everybody. I'm like, God, I would prefer if Unicron was the moon. I would be fine with that. If Unicron was the moon, it would have been a lot better, but not Earth.
That would have made more sense, or at least another planet.
Or he could be Jupiter, because how massive Jupiter is.
Yeah,
it would have made more sense. It just I don't know, man.
They did that for the shock value. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of people doing things for shock value, regardless of what it is. Just stop. Just stop, please.
I mean, how else are you going to get butts and seats? You got to try and shock people.
They shock people. Indiana Jones by turning him into an old ass man.
Yeah.
Oh God. No, actually, no. Just real quick, the most shocking thing about that, it wasn't just turning Indiana Jones to an old man. And look, I know people got their opinions on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I enjoyed it myself. I actually kind of liked it, especially because it's the one Indiana Jones.
It's better than the last one.
It's the one indie movie where he's actually fighting communists, which is actually really cool. And then in Dial of Destiny, what happens? Like after the nice happy ending where he's with Marion and he's got his new son, Mutt, we find out Mutt gets killed in the Vietnam War. You got to be fucking kidding me with that, man.
Oh, well, remember Ronan.
Son dead off screen. And the first time we see him, he's just old man sitting
drinking away, man.
Fifth.
Well, Crystal Skull, the only bad thing about Crystal Skull was the last 20 minutes of it, or 15 minutes.
Guys, you got to remember this. You got Dial Destiny. Literally, Indy goes back in time to save Hitler's life. That's what he does. That's what he does.
Because you can't mess with the timeline and this and that and yada yada.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Just to argue against you, Campia. So like ghosts and divine artifacts and things like that, that's good. If we involve aliens, I don't know about that. I don't know. It's just kind of strange because they both fall under that the overall paranormal.
I'll give you my reasoning behind that.
All right,
we had the ghosts and everything eating the people's faces of Lost Ark, right?
Right.
But in this, it just felt like there was no point other than the visual for the aliens. Like they really didn't. I didn't feel like they gave a good reason for why this would happen now or what this was going on. It just didn't feel like it mattered.
Okay, I see.
And Spielberg was massively against it, and you can find interviews with George Lucas and Spielberg regarding the fourth Indiana Jones movie, and literally, like, after months and months of George Lucas saying it should be aliens or something like that, he eventually, I think what made Spielberg say, okay, fine, we'll do it, is he said, don't call them aliens. And so George Lucas came up with something. We're going to call them, like, we're going to call them travelers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, Spielberg's like, fine, we'll do the weird alien thing you want to do, but the rules are no mention of aliens in the movie, and no mention of, like, them being from a faraway land that has come to do experiments on humans or whatever.
Right.
They're going to be this weird, like, Mesoamerican god type thing with a lot of, knowledge, that if you have too much knowledge,
who has a flying saucer? Who has a flying saucer?
Ultimately, the terms they used were ancient astronauts, spacemen, and interdimensional beings. Like those are pretty much the terms they used, but not aliens. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even Oxley himself, like at the end of the film, he's just like, they went back to the space between spaces. So, not aliens, not extraterrestrials, not little green men, basically just full on extra dimensional
you're proving
beings.
my point. You're proving my point right there.
I have
what do you mean?
I have a question.
You're proving my point that it was like it made it,
your point?
Meaning it was like it wasn't needed. It wasn't no real point to the ending of that. Like if they had any, it's like the movie is great up to that.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So do you think this is where what's his name got the inspiration for the world between worlds we saw in Rebels? Is where the aliens went to? Filoni.
Yeah. Dave Filoni is well known for taking other people's ideas, whether it's at their direction or just something he saw, and turning into something that he likes. And because honestly, look, you could take the Clone Wars animated show, and just a couple years afterwards, the Rebels animated show. Very stark difference, not only in writing but in presentation and in stories. But that's because in the Clone Wars television show, people minimize this all the time, but George Lucas had a massive creative hand in the Clone Wars television show. A massive creative hand. He had nothing to do with the Rebels show, and I think this is because Dave Filoni was also a large creative hand in the Clone Wars show, but George Lucas was there. And so there was dialogue between them. They were discussing storylines. They were discussing characters and whatnot. And after 7, they came back for 7 seasons. But after like 6 main seasons of the Clone Wars show, George Lucas, probably after working with this guy for so long, was like, he's got it. I've trained him enough, or what have you. If he's going to go off and do this other show that's in the Star Wars universe, I trust him. And then it happened, and it was an okay show. I mean, I know people who like enjoy Rebels for what it is, but it's no Clone Wars.
Well, also a difference between the two, the Clone Wars were literally, they were like filling in the gaps between episodes 2 and 3. During that whole period of the Anakin training Ahsoka, all the Dooku stuff. So that was filling in the, I say, a decade maybe between the Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Now Rebels, a lot, Rebels was supposed to be it was supposed to fill in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And they just did. I mean, the only time you ever see anything that would like somewhat tie it together would be Obi-Wan and Darth Maul's fight on Tatooine, probably mere hours before the events of A New Hope. And that was it. And everything else was like, no one cares.
Yeah, I think if one, I don't know if you'd call it a mistake, but in hindsight, I guess you would say it was something that wasn't a mistake. It was just a blind spot, I suppose. Is that if there was going to be a sequel trilogy, like if George Lucas had in his mind a sequel trilogy that was specifically going to take place like 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
He had that plan.
The-
He had already written out.
It's that like 30 years, like you have to nail what happens in those 30 years between the end of the third movie or the end of the sixth movie and what would be the beginning of like this George Lucas seventh movie.
Right.
And they had it. They actually, because if I remember right, the leaks were that it was supposed to be, this is supposed to be maybe 30 years after Luke opens up his first school. And you see Luke, trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. And then we got the monstrosity of Disney Star Wars.
Right. And they decided to basically just say whatever happened in the past 30 years is going to be implied based on what we write and what the characters say in episode 7, which
all of that
is not how you do it.
Well, all that is primarily because of two things. So George Lucas, we remember hearing that he actually had a full-on treatment for a new trilogy that he gave to Disney Studios and to Lucasfilm. He gave, a good treatment of sorts that they can work with in order to build something new. They completely threw that aside. And not just that, but they also decided to take 30 years worth of an expanded universe. We're talking about the Thrawn trilogy. We're talking about Shadows of the Empire. We're talking about characters like Mara Jade, as well as Jake Skywalker, and all of these other big outside of the main 6 films, like just a big universe that you can actually build off of. That would be just an expansive collection of TV shows, movies, additional comic books. They threw all of that aside.
Yeah.
And then when they finally realized how terrible a mistake that was, what are they doing now? They're cherry picking out of it. Like you said, Jake, they're actually adding Thrawn in with Ahsoka and everything else.
Okay, guys, we're going down a rabbit hole for another episode. So let's talk. Let's talk about the phenomenal Transformers the movie soundtrack score.
Oh yes.
I am going to specifically pull up the soundtrack listing and artist because I want to make sure I get this absolutely right.
Well, just all the songs are, of course, you got The Touch is one of the best ones, but like each song was perfectly placed in the movie that it just made you just feel for every scene that it was wonderful. The soundtrack could not have been more on par.
Well, I mean, the first music you hear is Unicron's theme, the as he's floating through space. And then he sees the planet he's about to have, he's about to eat, and he goes dun 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 again. And then after he eats the planet, you hear the main title by White Lion, Transformers.
I have a question because I am a music aficionado. At this point, because I don't remember exactly when let's just call it the event. I'm not going to get into it, but when the event took place, were they still White Lion at this point, or had they transitioned to being Lion yet? Okay, so they were still White Lion. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, guys, there's a whole thing you can look up as to why, but I'm not getting into it.
But a little trivia to this. So there's 2 versions of that song for the movie. So they actually did 2 openers with 2 different versions. One version they sung the lyrics and stuff that they wrote for the Transformers theme. Then the other one, it just says Transformers, and it's just music playing them saying Transformers over and over again, like in the original cartoon. But like in the 35th anniversary, they actually did the extended version of that theme in the opening and had a scroll text in it, talking about what the events were from the television show into the movie, what was going on, and then went into the movie. But yeah, like Dare, The Touch. I mean, The Touch is. I mean, they use The Touch on anything Transformers now.
Oh yeah.
Stan Bush, they bring him back for everything.
Oh yes.
They bring the live action. They've used it in the cartoons multiple times. It's iconic to the movie.
They absolutely love playing with it during Bumblebee as well too, a few times. Yeah.
And Vince Nicola,
It's-
he killed it with the Death of Optimus song.
Oh God, yes.
Oh,
yeah,
And
right.
he did one of the
Optimus
other ones that was, I
Oh.
think it's Escape was what it was called.
I
Mhm.
think one of the most catchiest songs in
Mhm.
the film as well too had to have been Weird Al's Dare to Be Stupid. I was just absolutely bopping my shoulders to that.
Dude, it fit the Junkions. It
Yes,
fit the whole
it
Junkions,
did.
man.
And the fact it was Eric
Eric
Idle,
Idle,
too.
yes. Eric,
Yes.
I was surprised to hear that it was Eric Idle that was doing the voice
Yes.
of the lead Junkion. That was great.
Hey, so Campion, tell the audience the part with Grimlock and Slag when they're walking on Quintessa. How you the two people you pictured as those two at that
Oh
moment.
boy.
Oh, it was definitely me and Phantom. Like just the
You fool,
stupidity.
Beverly and baloney. Excuse me. Dude, I'm so glad they didn't kill off the Dinobots, but the Dinobots were so popular. Thank God they didn't kill them all.
Oh,
Me,
man.
Grimlock, not weirdo. Me, King. But
Oh,
I mean,
man.
another good song. I mean, not only did the ones that had people singing the songs were good, it was just the instrumentals.
Yeah.
That's the Optimus.
The score.
The score. Death of Optimus. You have Escape. You have the little stuff like the little subtle hints of music that would play in between scenes and stuff where they didn't need to have like a big massive song. I said this the other night. I still think the soundtrack's a 10 out of 10. It's probably one of the last great 80s soundtracks that they ever did. And still people buy it. Still people use it. They still have it in Transformers today. And I mean, I've seen parodies of stuff, Family Guy or like other stuff that have the touch playing. Hell, even in Boogie Nights, you had Mark Wahlberg sing the touch. in
Poorly,
in
by the
Boogie-
way. Very poorly.
in Boogie Nights. It's icon. And another thing that's really iconic, Optimus Prime when he transforms in midair as he's fighting the Decepticons, that pose that he does with his gun pointing down. How many times they've used it? They used it in Transformers
posters
1.
and pictures and everything. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's on posters and
The
all that
video
good stuff.
games, everything.
And I also, speaking of, since we're on the soundtrack, I want to give a big shout out to Kick-Axe for, they did a cover of Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way. They did Hunger, which is another great song. But this is an interesting one because Kick-Axe is the name of the band. They're the ones that did those songs. But if you play through the credits and you look at the credits of the movie, they're not there. They are under the name Spectre General. And there is only one reason for that. It's because there was just one producer who thought that the name Kick-Axe was too violent. It implied too much violence. It sounded too much like Kick-Ass, for instance, even though you have a boy go, oh shit, in the movie, like who cares? But they literally changed the name of the band. Now I've looked into this, and thankfully Kick-Axe did receive the royalties that they should have received. There was no like funny business behind the scenes with contracts and whatever, so they didn't get like effed out of a bunch of money or anything.
I watched an interview with George Kristen, the lead singer of it, said that he couldn't care less. He's like, I want on that album. I don't care if they change our name. He said he's like, I didn't give two craps. I was like, I'm getting on that album.
Dude, the moment that kicks in when Megatron is ripping through the shuttle and you hear that da 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 da, it just goes right instruments of destruction. And dude, just when Megatron transforms and it's that electric guitar part as he's transforming, shit's about to get fucking real. And it's like in each song fit the movie. It fit the movie perfectly. It's like the moment when Optimus transforms and the touch starts playing, is that it's the piano part, and he's transforming. He starts riding off, and you hear Stan Bush starts he starts singing, and then the crescendo when Optimus Prime's getting blasted as he's in truck form, and he just and the tempo picks up and he launches up in the air. Dude, I got cold chills, dude. I got chills just thinking of
That's
that
one
part.
thing we don't get now. Like as
Mhm.
90s babies, y'all might not remember, but the synths
Mhm.
that used to use, like the keyboards and all the stuff they used to
Yes.
use, was just
Those
phenomenal
synths.
in music. It always got you pumped. It always got you like ready to
No,
go.
see, that's the weird thing is, yeah, I'm a 90s baby, but like to get those kinds of fixes, I listen to a whole ton of synthwave nowadays,
Oh,
which
yeah.
may not be the same thing, but like the vibe just still gets me, and I can definitely understand that feeling.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
can guarantee you, Ronan, that there's some synthwave that you were listening to where some of those artists are using era specific synths, because
Exactly.
Right.
there are
Yes,
some
exactly.
there's people nowadays who do like synth music or club music or whatever that involves synths, and they're using like 80s chords and things like that to create those synth sounds. Because I mean, it's just a little bit of electricity that is making the sound happen, but they still want to use the older pieces, some of the original pieces, because there's just something about it. There's something about the
Get that
the
same
physical
authentic
interface
feel
with
from
it,
it.
the authentic
Exactly.
feel, exactly the sound.
Like you could do it through the computer, but why? When you can just feel
Use
the
the
actual.
actual synthesizer.
Use the keyboard.
Yes.
Use the keyboards.
Yes,
Yeah.
use
No,
the actual
some
keys.
artists actually do still do that, which is the one thing I
Mhm.
absolutely commend them for.
Shout out to Carpenter Brute for using basically all
Well,
pre-90s synth.
Jake,
and the
I have a
keytar,
question.
people still buy the
I-
keytar all the time.
Mhm.
So I have a question / request. Is there any way you can look up the Transformers the A6 soundtrack and see if we can have a number on how many copies was sold today?
Okay. How many copies were sold? Let's see.
Yeah.
So soundtrack was issued in let's see. Well, first off, the Transformers, the movie, original motion picture soundtrack, was the 86 soundtrack. It was released and it was released on LP and cassette.
I had the LP.
In Japan, it was released
I
on
had the
CD
cassette.
in 1989.
Mhm.
I also bought that.
As far as numbers go, because they do have a slight mixture here, because in 2007 they brought back Vince DiCola to do a couple of other tracks for the anniversary edition.
The 35th, yeah.
It's hard to find hard numbers on these, but I know it's somewhere in the few hundred thousands. Let me see if I can actually find a listing of the numbers. I might just go ahead and ask like ChatGPT or something like that. But
I'm
please
looking
go
too.
ahead.
I don't see them anywhere.
Go ahead and continue while I look this up.
Well, because I know after, because like one of my first like CDs I ever bought was Transformers the movie soundtrack. Was
Mhm.
my first CD I ever bought. First cassette was definitely Transformers the movie, and I had the vinyl also. And because I think the vinyl had like 4 extra songs on it, if I remember right, I could be wrong.
4, yes.
And you know, it had to where it would open up. It had where it opened up, and you had the movie poster of, you know, Rodimus holding. They literally stole the for the Transformers the movie where Rodimus is holding the Matrix from A New Hope. So they literally copied the poster for it. But that soundtrack, I love that soundtrack, and yes, and even hearing the death of Optimus Prime, that music hits you every time. You know, it brings you back to that memory of watching him die. You know.
Yeah. I just real quick, I just want to interject. I apologize, Fandom, but going through just regular music databases, RIAA certification records, and sales figures, there's no number.
Damn.
There's
Yeah,
no number for it.
what I'm
which is
getting brought
really
up
weird.
says sales figures for the Transformer movie soundtrack released in 1986 are not publicly available or widely reported. The movie was considered a critical commercial failure
It was
during its initial run, which is likely
Mhm.
contributes to the low documentation of its soundtrack sales.
possibly, and that could also be something that we
Because
could
the
speak
death of
about.
Optimus Prime, when
Yeah.
it's word of mouth.
Right.
The movie was like 12 million or something, or no, excuse me. The movie was like $3 or $4 million. It really wasn't too terribly expensive, but its box office was like 1.8 million. So like a massive, massive failure. And as you said, that probably, as you or read, almost certainly contributed to the non-recording of certain things, whether it be
worldwide
sales or what have you.
Worldwide, 5.8 million in the box office.
Okay, so it was probably close to like 8 million then. Yeah, it just absolute fail. And if Optimus lived, would it have done better? Would it have at least made its money back?
I don't know if it would have done better, but it did definitely at season 3 and 4 would have done better.
Oh, certainly. Because again, like you go to school on Monday, and a friend in your friend group went to see the movie this past week, and they come and over lunch they tell you that Optimus Prime eats shit. Are you going to be begging
you don't
your
want
mom
to watch it
to take you to see it? Like, no, of course not.
And dude, I went on opening night. I went the first night it came to our local theater because I wanted to see it. And
you were the first wave over the top.
Yeah, it's like,
it's getting jumped down.
And I'm gonna tell you, so I was 10 years old, so it came out right around 10 years old. Almost 11 years old, and I never got a chance. I didn't finish the movie until maybe 89, 90 when I watched it on VHS because of Optimus's death. I never knew what happened at the end of the movie. I never knew until I finally, I watched it, did cry, then finished the movie off. And that's how a lot of my generation was. The kids that that parents had to drag them out. They didn't watch it till years later.
Yeah, they say in the 20th anniversary documentary, it's like kids were walking out, parents were writing them upset that they couldn't do it. Like they did not want to be there for that. And I mean, it shows, like I said, 5.8 million box office, but the movie itself cost 5 to 6 million is what they said. So they didn't even break even.
Yeah. And I doubt it had a massive marketing campaign or anything, but yeah, the fact that it didn't break.
Well, the show was a marketing campaign.
Well, yeah, because they actually showed clips of the movie on the cartoons.
Yeah.
Okay.
To get people there.
I mean, like right before the movie came out, they introduced Hot Rod in the last few episodes before the movie. And then when the movie was out for maybe a month, they said, "We're welcoming the new leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime," but didn't say how he became leader. They didn't say Optimus Prime.
Nope.
Optimus Prime took a dirt nap. They didn't say that. They hinted that Prime might have passed the torch to Hot Rod, but they didn't say that he died to give him he died. But
that his torch died to give to Optimus.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that can't be a fan of. You guys might know. The matrix of leadership, when let's say we know that Rodimus or Hot Rod got it because because Optimus Prime died. Is the matrix of leadership something that, let's say you're alive,
I know
something
this,
that you can remove from yourself?
I know this,
and not die, and so somebody else can get it and then become a Prime or what have you.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a thing. Yes. You don't have to die in order for it to be bequeathed to somebody else.
So there's an instance in the lore where Primus was the creator of the Matrix.
Yes.
And what it was, Alpha Trion, who was once a Prime, Primus said, we need a way to collect the wisdom of the former Primes. So that's the reason why the Matrix of Leadership, because it holds the wisdom and data of all the Primes before
all the previous Primes.
Primes. Well, so that's the reason why in the cartoon you'll see either Optimus or Rodimus. Literally, they're injured to the point where they're near death. They travel into the Matrix and they're able to go back, and there's a log of events that happened that each Prime went through. So
Well, there's
And-
also that it also could bring life to new Transformers as well.
Yes.
So they could take it
Yes.
out of them, put it
Really?
into someone, and
Yeah.
create a form
Yes.
of life.
It also can repair
Interesting.
them too.
Okay.
It can repair them too.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So it's kind of a
in-
magic box that can do basically most things you might want it to do.
it's a Swiss
some
Army.
sense.
So
It's a
So-
Swiss Army Transformer.
yeah.
So, fair
So
enough.
so what it is? So originally the Transformers had sparks. That was their life. That was their energy
Yes.
source.
Yes.
Now the difference between Optimus the Prime's spark to compare to a regular Transformer, their spark integrated into the Matrix the moment it went to their body.
Okay.
Now, like in the events like what happened in Transformers the movie when God, what's his name? The one that fumbled it.
Ultra Magnus.
No hands.
Ultra Magnus. The reason
no hands.
so the thing was the Matrix, he was just a placeholder. Literally, he's a transitional champion in wrestling terms, and Campion knows what I'm talking about.
and as far as the toys go, I'm sorry for interrupting, but as far as the toys go, wasn't Ultra Magnus in the toy line? Wasn't he just a Optimus
Optimus-
Prime with more bits on him?
Yes.
Yeah, they
effectively?
used them. They
Okay.
used the mold and his so basically, he had a super mode before they integrated into Optimus Prime. So basically, his the back part of him was his armor. It was
Okay.
the same mold and everything.
Mhm.
So when it comes to the Matrix, the Matrix is a more powerful spark. It has the spark of the Prime. So when a
Mhm.
Prime truly dies, his spark becomes one with the Matrix. That's the reason Optimus says in the movie, my spark is I'm about to become one with the Matrix. That's what happens to the Prime when they die.
Okay.
Now,
Like your essence becomes part of the group.
yeah,
Right.
it becomes a collective.
Yeah.
So the reason why, like with Rodimus, in later on when Prime comes back to life, and
Mhm.
he doesn't have the wisdom to know how to fight this galactic
Right.
this galactic virus that's going on.
It's because
He
he's
li-
like a newborn, effectively.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any knowledge.
Yeah, he has to go and fight Rodimus to reclaim the matrix of leadership so he can have the wisdom back into him.
I see.
And like later on, they did the whole where each Transformer is born with a transformation cog. This came out of Transformers 1, which was fine.
Mhm.
I liked how they did it. And then, like, once again, the Matrix is bestowed on somebody that's worthy, a chosen one.
Yeah.
To become the de facto leader that would have the ability to light their darkest hour. That's the reason. That's the biggest line in Transformers the movie, is that there somebody will come who will use the Matrix to light their darkest hour, which happened twice in Transformers. Once was for Unicron because Cybertron,
Mhm.
and then in the show when they brought back the touch once again in the TV show when Optimus Prime released it. However, in the cartoon, when he released it to save the entire universe, the knowledge of the ancient Transformers, the ancient Primes, was lost, and they had to refill the Matrix with new knowledge, which I think is kind of stupid. But I guess that would work because it was a more massive release of knowledge to fight this virus. Is why they did that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So what you're saying to me is, or what I got from that was, later on when Optimus had to fight Rodimus Prime to get the Matrix leadership, it could have been possible for Rodimus to just remove
Hand it to him. Yes.
and hand
But
it
he
to
couldn't
him.
because he was infected by that virus. He
He was
couldn't hand it to
infected
him.
by the virus. Okay.
They
But-
literally had to fight him to get the Matrix to
Right.
literally rip it out of his body to take
Okay.
it back.
But virus notwithstanding, could have
Yes.
removed it, gave it to him.
He could have
and-
gave it back
And,
to him
and
and not had a problem.
he would have
Okay.
inverted back to Hot Rod, which he did after Prime took the
Right.
Matrix.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I had that right. I wanted to make sure that
which
they
they
were
could
remaining
have-
consistent. Which
They
were.
could have played with that a little bit, like
Mhm.
imagine like having all the knowledge and then it being removed from you.
Well,
Right.
also, so in the cartoon,
Right.
there was a few
Well, I mean, they
episodes
edited it.
where,
Otherwise, they could have done it though.
well, there was like a few episodes of that season after that where Rodimus didn't want it. He did not want it, and he actually took the
He was
Matrix
reluctant.
out. He took the Matrix out and inverted back to Hot Rod, where he would be his old self, and he was more happier.
Right.
But he realized he had responsibility. He was the leader, and without a leader, the Decepticons was starting to come back up in ranks. They started attacking more, and there was it was chaos. So the Matrix is the most important instrument in the Transformers universe, next to the Cyber Plant Keys, next to the Cyber Forge, next to Alpha Trion, and all that. The Matrix is what it's like the Force. It binds us. It manipulates us. It penetrates us. That's the Matrix of leadership.
Okay.
Without it, the Decepticons probably could have beat the Autobots hands down. Without the
Thank God
Matrix,
that didn't happen.
it nearly did several times.
That's my reference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I was just looking over because I was miffed at the fact that we could not find any sales data on the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is just absolute baller. Among the producers for the soundtrack, Rick Derringer was one of the producers, which like, hell yeah, all for that.
He's the reason why Weird Al and White Lion was on the soundtrack. He's literally the one's like, look, this movie is based on probably the most popular toy line. We would love to have you guys. And Weird Al was a fan, and I know like a few of the members of White Lion are fans, and they're like, what song do we get to do?
We're Georgians. We can't help it.
You get to pick, and when they found out they're going to do the main theme of the movie, they were like, "Oh, they were stoked."
They went for it. They really went.
Dude, they even put it on their that album that year. Transformers, the theme is on that album that they put out that year.
Didn't he just pass away?
The guy that wrote the movie, that the idiot that said, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna kill off the." Character, yeah, he died like a couple months ago. I think the article's in one of our chats.
Ron Friedman was his name. He died.
Oh no! I'm talking about Rick Derringer. He died too, like back in May or June.
Oh, did Rick Derringer pass away?
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah. Let me. I can check
because I know you know him from this stuff. But
this year,
for me, he'll always be the writer of Real American, Hulk Hogan's theme song.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, oh goodness.
But yeah, the creator, what was his name? Phantom Friedman.
Yeah. Ron Friedman. He was one of he was the main writer of the movie, but there were a few other writers, and I know that because
he was the big voice on getting. He was the main voice of killing off characters, because I put one of the Comic Cons he did not too long ago. Talking about, and I believe it's either one or the other chats, if you want to pull it up and play it right quick, because it's a kid that asked him why he did it.
Let me see if I can find that specifically, because I do have. Let's see. I think this might be it. Let's see if there's actually a quote in here for chance.
We believe in you, Jake. We know you got the touch.
Oh, I know.
because after he made that decision, people hated him for that. And if I remember right, G.I. Joe the movie was the last movie he worked on. After that, because he decided he wanted to kill Duke off in it too, and they're like, "You just fucked up Transformers for us. You're not gonna fuck up G.I. Joe for us. You're done.
Really?
You're done after this." And this came from Marvel, because at the time Marvel had the rights to release the Transformers, both the movies and the comic book.
I figured it'd be Hasbro.
No, it was Marvel because he was working for Marvel at the time. So he was there with Marvel too. And they're like, "No, you just fucked this shit up. You're done. You're not going to kill off two main characters. You want to like traumatize more kids. No, we ain't having that. We ain't having that."
Yeah, and here he is pictured with Stan Lee at around that time.
I mean, let's be honest.
see.
Who hadn't had a picture of Stan Lee from that
Yeah,
time?
Dude.
This is why I remember it so well, is because he published an autobiographical book a number of years later, literally entitled, quote, "I Killed Optimus Prime," end quote.
And that book failed. That book failed too. Because people were pissed about it.
Just like the movie.
Dude,
Damn,
even Stan Lee had somebody asked him about that. Even Stan Lee said that was the dumbest thing he ever heard of them killing Optimus Prime, because Stan Lee liked Transformers too.
Nice.
Yeah. Why do you think that in comic books no one's truly dead? They always come back because of shit like this.
Right.
Good Lord.
You know, I'd like to give a shout out to the 10 people. We had 15 at one point today watching us. Our inaugural
shout out
matinee with the homies. And thank you guys. And don't forget, at 5:00 Eastern, go over to our ginger friend, right, Campia?
Yeah.
Jessica Lindstrom. She's doing her second episode of Baking Bad.
First official episode number 1 of Baking Bad, making homemade Oreos, which sounds absolutely delicious.
So go over there, show her some love. Say, hey, the homie sent us.
Okay, so I do have a little bit of a video. It's a quick 2-minute video question regarding, excuse me, the death of Optimus Prime. However, this kind of goes against his book, where, you know, in the book he emphatically states, "I am the one who killed Optimus Prime. Here's basically like a bullet list of reasons." This specifically, this question that's going to go up here, it's only 2 minutes long.
He backtracked
and
hardcore.
Hopefully the volume be quick, but you'll hear, and you'll hear why. So let's hear.
You didn't pull it up, Jake.
Yeah, I don't see nothing, Jake.
Yep.
It's as high as you can go.
No, you didn't pull it up on screen.
I don't want to see him win, but I really like.
Oh, there it goes.
I had that. You gotta rewind it.
Be there. Okay. Yeah, no worries.
There we go.
Hopefully it's actually showing up.
It is now.
Yeah.
My daughter asked me a while back who my favorite character was, and I had to admit I enjoy Megatron. I really like seeing him put the boots down.
I did too.
You know, I don't like seeing him win. I don't want to see him win, but I really like watching the face-off. The bad guys are always more fun to play.
They are.
Yeah, and I always enjoyed the part about where, especially with Megatron, there's a plan within a plan within a plan, it seems. You never really know what he's doing, and you don't know what's coming until it happens. And so I really like that way that plays out. It reminds me of Star Trek DS9 when the Cardassian
As a kid, I
characters,
wanted to
the Klingon
smack
made a
his
comment
bald
one time,
head.
When you're battling these guys, you don't know what they're up to because it's a plan within a plan within
It's
a
be a
plan.
man and shave
And
your
I
head.
enjoyed the reoccurrence in that story writing. It's not common. My daughter had a question that she wanted me to ask you. When you killed Optimus, did you realize how it would become a reoccurring tradition?
I didn't want to do it. I repeat that. I
Yeah.
was forced to do it. If they hadn't
Yeah.
paid me, I wouldn't have done it.
Bullshit.
I can be
Backtrack as hell.
Okay.
I did
Bullshit.
anticipate there'd be an outcry because I still identify with kids. As far as enjoying myself and being
Bullshit.
open to wonderment, I still am. So I thought, if I were a kid, how would I feel? I'd be pissed off. But kids aren't writing my check. So,
Dude, you
Are you
just
kidding
your
me, bro? Come
underwear.
on.
I did it for the money.
Dude,
But
he literally
I
just in his
apologize
underwear the
philosophically.
first
Yeah, he's
showings
a-
of
he-
that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
He's apologizing. He's saying that he wouldn't have done it if it wasn't because the check cutter said you have to kill him. Bro, and again, that goes against his autobiography, which, you know, it's not massive or
Jake,
anything.
they
There's a
didn't
lot
want
of
Prime to
things there,
die.
but like,
He
Rewriting
literally,
history.
he literally
yes,
went to the office. Is like, we got new toys
Yeah.
coming out. We need to kill the old toys off.
Yeah.
That was his quote. That was his fucking
Yep.
quote from his goddamn book.
And-
Excuse my French,
and-
Lord.
Exactly. And in his book, there's a number of chapters where he emphatically states, he doesn't say it's because of the higher ups or the person who writes his check. He doesn't,
It was
in his
his
book, he doesn't
decision.
give a damn what the kids think. He doesn't give a damn about, you know, how they're going to feel, or I still, you know, I still feel, you know, what the kids feel. I still would be devastated if I saw him die or whatever. He emphatically states that, no, I killed him, and he states in the book, and I would do it again.
Yeah.
Son of a
And I
bitch.
would do it again. That
So
that is not
Basket
what we
says
just saw.
Basket says he sounds like a politician, and much like how a politician's being paid by the friggin' taxpayers, the kids
Indeed.
are the ones that are
Okay.
paying for these damn guys' checks. I mean, they're the
Yes.
ones that are getting their parents to go to the toy store to pick up these toys. They're the ones that are sitting in front of TV watching these shows that helps
Mhm.
fund for more toys and everything like that. So in essence, and I know this sounds like a Karen who's going to argue at a copy, like I pay for your check and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, without these kids, this son of a bitch ain't getting the check from the check
true.
writers.
Okay. There's a fun fact about his position. He was
Please.
head of the studio, and he was head writer. It was his. He was also producing it. It was his way or the highway.
Yeah.
When he got the script, and it was on the script where Optimus Prime did not die, he went back and rewrote the script to put his death into the damn movie. That's what happened.
Now,
Because
at-
in the 35th anniversary Blu-ray, the two other guys that were under him specifically mentions that they fought
Oh,
tooth and
dude.
nail to keep Prime from fucking dying in it.
the Blu-ray
And he was
interview.
he
Oh,
was
man.
like, either make Prime die or you're fucking fired. And those were his exact quote.
and we can also play here. Excuse me. We can play Peter Cullen's reaction, because he was at a
Yep.
TF Con a number
Mhm.
of years ago, and he was asked a question. He was, you know, basically giving stories and anecdotes regarding this. And I
Which
chose a very
he is no longer
specific-
doing cons as well, by the way.
He is,
Right.
which
Retired.
is unfortunate. He's retired.
Well,
I
he's
understand
84.
He's getting up there in age and those
Yep.
kind of things. But this,
He better live to 86. That's all I got to say.
Hold on. Before you play, Jake, he also somebody interviewed him, and he said because of what they did to his character and did to him, he said when they come to him, Michael Bay said, okay, I want you're the only voice of Optimus Prime. He said, well, you better not kill me off.
Mhm.
If it
Yeah.
leads to where you have to kill me off, you better fucking bring me back. And that's what happened in the second
and
movie.
instead, Michael Bay has him say, "You die," killing Kelsey Grammer like it's nothing, and
Mhm.
you know, freaking canoeing other people on the ground,
Mhm.
just crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Anyways, so we can go. I skipped forward specifically into this. Hopefully, it plays properly. Why won't you show up? Darn it! Why are you having such a problem? I don't like you. You're being a pain. Please just show up in the shipyard.
Please,
Why
Junior
won't you
Coon.
show?
Being a pain.
I guess I have to
Somebody
do
else
it.
say
So
the
there
fact.
Oh,
it
wait,
is.
here we
There
go,
it is.
here we go.
It's taking
All
some
right.
time, but okay. I specifically skipped this part because you can see the most replayed here for reasons. So let's give this a quick listen, and let's get the opposite of Ron Friedman.
I was standing with Frank Welker, and we were reading our lines, and I got to page, I don't know, 17, and I said, "Hey, Frank, is it? I'm getting whacked on page 17."
There's also an interview with him with Welker, and they're like
Wait a
going
minute.
back and forth on it.
He doesn't
not coming
remember
back.
anything, but he remembers page 17.
So we have that little anecdote from him. And by the way, I figured it out. It's because it just takes like 10 seconds or whatever for it to load. That's why it wasn't showing up. It wasn't just a boomer moment. Ebola, stop it, stop it. But yeah, Welker.
Don't call Jake a boomer. You've had more boomer moments than he has.
So Peter Cullen is literally sitting with Frank Welker going through the script and is like, I eat it like a quarter of the way through the movie, and then again flip. I'm not coming back. Like, for two seasons prior and various cartoons, you are the leader de facto. You're in every episode. You're not in the very first episode or the first couple. Or no, you are in the very first one, but his brother convinced him to change his voice. So if you listen to the voice of the very first episode of Transformers, sounds much different. It's because his brother convinced him to do that kind of deeper. My name is Optimus Prime.
Something else I've noticed that in the beginning of that interview, he talks about that most voice actors, they do their part and go on their way. He said that all of them and the Transformers were on a table together, and they all did their voices together.
Yeah, they did actual legit table read, which is way better.
Dude,
but again, you're the de facto leader for the past couple of years. You go to this movie, you're 17 pages in, and you just eat it, and then that's that,
dude.
Like,
here's a funny one. So here's a funny one. So there's a I was gonna look for it, but I didn't get a chance to. So there's an interview where both Frank Welker and
Peter Cullen.
Peter Cullen are talking about when they find out their characters are dying. And Frank Welker's like, he's like, well, shit, I fucking died too. and the thing was, he did it in the Megatron voice, and fucking the crowd just started. Literally, they had a conversation with Megatron. It was Megatron and Optimus Prime's like, I didn't realize I was gonna die. I didn't fucking know either.
Yeah, I saw one. It was literally like this past year, the year before, where Peter's basically out of it. He doesn't remember much of it. Yeah. And then Frank's like, you don't remember this? He goes, I remember page 17.
yeah. And literally, I think that was, he did like oddball voice acting. But the thing was, he's a man of 1,000 voices, but he's only known for one, and that's Optimus Prime.
And you know what? There's a few voice actors like that, and when you have this type of, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Venom, but when you have a voice actor, typically a voice actor voices, if they're like, this is your full-time job, you voice a dozen or more characters, or maybe you do something on The Simpsons or South Park and you voice like well over a dozen characters. If you're Hank Azaria, you voice 23 characters on The Simpsons or whatever. But if you get that one role where that voice is just so synonymous with what's on screen, and if that's the one you're known for, that's the one you're known for. But almost always that voice actor takes that mantle and is like, Peter Cullen is like, my name is Optimus Prime, and that's what he would say. I understand he's retired now, but that he is Optimus Prime, and he always will be Optimus Prime. When he passes, that will be the true death of Optimus Prime.
Well, I mean, he's on the levels of Mel Blanc and Frank Oz. He's the three most well-known voice actors of all time are those three.
Yeah, and Looney Tunes would not be what it is, have been what it was without Mel Blanc. And when the I forgot which Looney Tunes, the one with Michael Jordan, Space Jam. When Space Jam came out, when I was watching it, and obviously the characters come on and they start speaking stuff, I'm like, these characters sound very distinctly different, almost as if there's a singular voice actor that has passed away and is no longer with us.
I know, right? I mean, you have Kevin Conroy, and you have all these voice actors, but it's like there will never be a Peter Cullen, ever again. You will never have that Optimus Prime
Almost
ever again.
Nope.
Especially
And-
with the way AI has gone, there will probably
Mm.
never be. 5 years from
Mm.
now, at best, there's
Mm.
not going to be like things that I used to do. Like I used to do voice acting, but political reasons would shut out whatever. Not going to get into it.
Mm.
5 years time, there's really not going to be voice actors as we know it. And it's
We talked about this on the anime show.
We
We talked about this 100 times. How they're like they wanted to use AI generated voices for voice
Japan
actors.
is massive into that. Japan
Mhm.
wants
To Chris Hemsworth's
anything.
to Chris
get that.
Hemsworth credit in Transformers 1, like he tried
Mhm.
the best that he could with the performance. Again, I actually still liked the movie overall, and I thought that his version of
Optimus Prime.
Orion Pax, yes.
Or, yeah.
Well, I would have said Optimus, but I wanted to say his name before he became Optimus. Orion Pax, that's it. Like it was good, but again, it's just not going to beat Peter Cullen. It will
Right.
never beat Peter Cullen at all.
Mm-hmm.
But to his, I'll say this to his effect. In interviews he's done when the movie came out, he said, "I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to get close.
Right.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be Peter Cullen.
Mhm.
Nobody will ever top it." So I can show respect
Mhm.
for that. Like
Right,
he's like, "I'm
exactly.
trying.
He
I'm
knows.
doing it. Yes, but I will never be his level."
And
I think
I have mad respect for that.
I think the one issue I do have about it is that so in the original Transformers, they had a flashback where the aerial bots get thrown back in time, and they see the events leading up to the birth of Optimus Prime when Megatron destroys Orion Pax. And there's two distinct different voices because Orion Pax, he was a dock worker. He really didn't transform, but when they rebuilt him and made him into Optimus Prime, that's when the new voice came in. And Colin did Ryan Pax. He did that version of Ryan Pax, and it's like night and day. It's like how Kevin Conroy did between Bruce Wayne and Batman, the two distinct different voices.
Right.
I mean, when you hear Transformers and you hear "My name is Optimus Prime," it's him. It's iconic.
Right.
It's so iconic. And so I've seen the new Transformers where they integrated politics into it. It's not that good. The guy does
I wonder why.
Optimus Prime's voice. It's okay, but at least they gave him the chance to come back to voice his iconic role in the live action, some of the cartoons, and at least they gave him that respect because I think that was a massive disrespect on how they killed his character off and like, yeah, you can go fuck yourself. We don't need you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt about that. For decades, even to this day, when I hear Transformers, anything Transformers, I close my eyes and it's like I'm so scared when they do the Transformers. But he had a contract to where he did not only the cartoons, the live action, but he also did the video games.
Shout out to that as well.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I love it.
Also,
Actually, like special mention really to the Fall of Cybertron game, War for Cybertron, and Devastation. I
That's
actually have
exactly-
Devastation still downloaded for myself. That game is one of the most phenomenal, especially considering they stuck with the G1 designs in that one too.
Yes, and Devastation is a fantastic game, and people don't realize like it's a really good like character action fighter game with the G1 designs and the attacks. They're mid transformation or full transformation. They do the attacks,
and
it's really good. And then War for Cybertron and Fall for Cybertron, great person shooters, 360. Those are very underrated, very solid games.
And
good story.
I love it how like what was it like I say about 4 or 5 years ago they brought out the classic Transformer line where it's from the Cybertron era before they come to Earth. So they have their original vehicle modes on Cybertron, but the thing was they never brought one out for Optimus Prime because he never had one. What's up, Mo?
Avocado.
Mo.
Avocado Mo. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much all we have, right?
Yeah.
For this
I
topic.
think so. I think so. And I think some big takeaways are don't kill your main character, because if you are running a franchise that is multimedia, including toys,
$1 billion
your main
franchise.
character is your moneymaker. That's your golden
Yes.
goose. And once it lays its first golden egg, you don't slaughter the goose. You take care of it.
Which Star Wars
Mm.
didn't
Have it
learn.
lay more eggs.
Mhm.
So don't
So-
do something stupid like that.
So a little announcement. So keep an eye out for the homies X account. I will
Mhm.
announce the me playing the monstrosity known as Dragon Age the Velguard. Also this coming up Thursday and Friday. So Thursday we're gonna have Box Office Brawler on for our main show. And then
Mhm.
Friday night, we're going to have a special episode with the one, the only Gooch.
Same bad time. Same
All
bad place.
right.
Also,
3 shows in a row. Yay.
At 5
Next-
o'clock today.
yeah. So yeah, just this afternoon.
Mhm.
Make sure to tag her. Yeah, the homie
I
sent
got
us.
it.
Also, we will be doing
Okay.
anime with the homies next Saturday night, and
Mhm.
back here next week. So next week's show, we've been talking about this, and we're gonna go in depth on movie soundtracks.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that's gonna be fun. So
Let me
Jake, what
talk
you got
about some
going
music.
on, my brother?
What do I have going on? I have, well, now this show, 1 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern on Sundays,
Mhm.
Matinee with the Homies, which I feel like I'm going to enjoy doing the show with you, Phantom, with you, Camp You, Ronan, when you decide you want to be
Same.
on, or if you don't, or whatever. Totally cool. And obviously Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the official For the Homies podcast. And as Phantom said, this week, we're going to have a special episode the day after on Friday, also 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be 2 episodes back to back. It's going to be a special week. Other than that, that's basically what I do. And my name is Big Dog Jake, BIGGDOGGJAKE. I'm a professional, though occasional VOA. I'm a writer for hire. I love video games. I love metal music and music in general. And I will talk to anyone about them. And I think quickly, before we get to Camp U, I'm going to throw it over to Ronan. Ronan, do you have anything coming up? Anything you want to discuss? Anything you'll be doing?
Me personally, what I got coming up. So I think after this stream, I'm gonna set up another stream for Resident Evil 7. And after
Okay.
good old Jess's stream, what I'm gonna try doing later tonight at around maybe 7:30, I'm gonna go ahead and stream Faith, the Unholy Trinity for the first time. Gonna be going through
Nice.
gonna be going through those games for Spooky Month this month, and
That
it'll be a lot of
game is
fun.
wild.
Yes,
Second Holy
I
Trinity
have
is
seen the gameplay of it,
wild.
and honestly, for the kind of topics it goes through, it's probably one of the most Christian games I've ever seen out there.
It is
so
an
it's
extremely
surprising.
Christian game. And
Yes.
the gameplay, again, like the way they, well, if you guys have ever seen gameplay, but if you haven't, watch Ronan do it, because if you're playing it by yourself in the dark, it looks like it may be an Atari 2600 game, but dang,
Mm.
It'll shock the hell out of you.
it
Yeah.
will shock the hell out of you, which I
Aside
think is one of the main objectives.
Aside from that, you'll of course see me here every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Matinee for the Homies. I absolutely love being a part of this. I'm glad that Phantom and Campy and I had the discussions for actually, setting up something like this. It's some good stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely some good conversations. we'll
I had
have.
a lot of fun, man. I
Yes.
had a lot of fun with this.
I love
And-
discussing things.
And you'll
No.
see me, make the rounds on other people's shows as well, either ABF or sometimes with the homies as well too. But yeah, you'll see me around.
Absolutely. And Campy, what about yourself? Anything special?
No, get right. His name is Am Campbell Soup.
All right, Campbell Soup.
I'm M. Campy U. A lot of people call me Gray Bush Campbell Soup, thanks to Jeff up north. But this is actually my first live that I've done, so I've had a lot of fun here. I do have a different name, which I will not compare because I'm trying something new here. So I will try to release a video soon from this page. I'm going to start
Heck
this
yeah.
being a new, fresh start.
Mhm.
You'll see me here at Matinee with the Homies, and I'm mostly on the GCA and the For the Homies Discord. If you're in the Discord, if you're not, come on and join us in. It's fun to
Mhm.
discuss everything from music, movies, TV, political stuff sometimes. I'm usually not part of the political scene, but I'm in there as well. And just appreciate everybody coming, and also join Jess's stream at 5:00.
It's 5 o'clock, baby.
Mhm.
So yeah, everybody get in the Discord. Phantom, you have anything else that you want to say before I?
Yeah.
shout
So
out?
I'm definitely doing a new endeavor. I am since I'm gonna be streaming Dragon Age the Belguard. I can't do it like directly to YouTube, so I'm doing it to Twitch. But I will be in our Discord. I am re-downloading the Master Chief Collection to have a little fun with it. Also, if anybody out there who plays Fortnite, let me know, because I definitely want to get together with some guys and play this season of Fortnite. Also, I'll be seeing you guys Thursday night for Brooklyn Box Office Brawler, and all the rest of the shows. So tune in
Absolutely.
for all that. Follow, all our links are in the description down below. We have a merch store, we have our Discord, we have everything going on. Share it out to your friends. Tell your friends about this show. And next week we'll be talking about movie soundtracks. So that's going to be pretty fun to talk about. So till next time, I'm Phantom X. He's Big Dog Jake. He's Rhonda the Crusader. And he's Campy Soup. So see you later, guys.
Less than 2 hours.
Happy Jessica.
Happy
Good old Jessica. Happy
Ginger Jessica.
Like the
Goodbye,
stream,
everybody.
Take
Like
care.
stream nerds, have a
Thanks,
great
Stream Nerds.
rest of your day, and we'll see you in Jess's chat later on. Go in there and
Deus
call her-
Vault.
go in there and
Deus
say hello
Vault.
to our ginger friend. Good night, everybody.